Hi, Lynn Barrette here again, licensed clinical therapist and spiritual counselor, and I'm here again to talk with you more about defining forgiveness. In my last video, I talked about what forgiveness is not, because when we think about forgiveness, we often are bringing a lot of misconceptions to the table about what forgiveness is. So in my last video, we talked about what it is not. In this video, I'm going to help us define forgiveness in a way that's healthy and palatable so that we can kind of break it down and work with the tools for forgiveness, which I'm going to talk about in my next video. So today we're talking about what forgiveness is, and forgiveness is kind of a three-part process of acceptance, compassion, and release. Acceptance, compassion, and release. So what is it that we're accepting? What we are accepting is the facts of a situation. When something happens to us and we have an emotional reaction to it, it turns into a forgiveness need, right? The first thing we want to do is to deal with the facts of the situation, because facts are emotionally easy to deny, right? So if something has happened to us, if someone has been sexually abused, let's say, it's easy for that person to say, well, maybe it was just me. Maybe there's something wrong with me. It's easy for family members or other people to say, well, is that really what it was? Or, maybe that other person was too young, or, they're a family member, so you just kind of forgive and let it go, or, whatever. We start kind of denying what the reality was of our situation. Or maybe it's an office worker who is being passive aggressive, and we're kind of questioning ourselves about, did that really happen? What's going on here? Did I really experience that? And other people are saying, oh, that's just the way they are, and But in order to work through our forgiveness process, we have to first say, okay, this is what happened. Here's the behavior of the other person. Here is my emotional reaction, my emotional response to that behavior, and just being able to get it all out on the table and to be able to look at, okay, this is what happened, regardless of where I was coming from, regardless of where the other person was coming from. These are the facts. And dealing with those facts helps us to move through our own emotional process more efficiently, because we're not dealing with unreality. We're not dealing with what ifs about what really happened. We're just saying, hey, this is just what happened. Let's just work with that. Okay, so that first step is acceptance of what happened. This is what happened. I can't change it. I can't change this person's behavior. I can't change my reaction. Or if I'm forgiving myself for doing something ridiculous, here's what I did. Here's my behavior. Here's what I brought to the table. So when we're dealing with facts, we're dealing with everybody's facts, all the facts, not just about what the other person did, but about our input as well on that situation. And it just helps keep the forgiveness process as clean as possible, so we're dealing with those facts and not a bunch of other things along with it. So that's why the acceptance piece is important, accepting those facts as this is what happened. So the next step is compassion. And this, after dealing with the facts, this is where we put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. We put ourselves in our own shoes. So we can say, okay, so to the best of my knowledge, here's where the other person was coming from. Okay, they were having a bad day, or they were stressed out, they were feeling anxious, and this is how they showed up because of that. Here's what was going on for them during that time. I can understand that. I can get that. And then put myself in my shoes. Okay, so here's my emotional reaction to that. Here's how I showed up around that. Here's how that behavior affected me and why I showed up as I did. Maybe I withdrew, maybe I lashed out, maybe I just kind of stepped away for a while to see what I need to do about the situation. Whatever my response was, I can understand where I was coming from with that too. And even, this isn't always easy to do because, our emotions get in the way. And that's, again, why it's important to deal with those facts. Hey, I felt angry about that. Okay, it's okay that I felt angry. This is just what it is. But I can have compassion for that anger, and that having compassion for my own anger helps me to step back from my anger and look at it, appreciate it, acknowledge it, understand it, have compassion for it, but also not stay stuck in it too. And that's what we're aiming for. We don't want to. We want to honor our feelings because they're human and they're trying to tell us something, but we don't want to stay stuck there. And compassion helps us to not stay stuck in our emotions, either, about ourselves or about another person. And compassion also, let's not forget, is being able to see that, hey, this other person is a chronic perpetrator. Okay, they continue to do this behavior over and over again in spite of feedback, and we can have compassion for that too. We can also adjust our behavior. We can not be around that person. We can set boundaries, but we can have compassion from a distance. We can have compassion. Okay, this is what this person is dealing with in their life situation. This is what they're dealing with in their soul situation. I don't have to be part of that. It's okay. But now I know, because I'm dealing with the facts, now I know that this is going to continue to happen over and over again. So I need to adjust myself, and I can do that with compassion. I don't need to go and slap them upside the head saying, "Hey, can you see this?" I can just say, "Okay, this is who you are. I'm just going to keep my emotional, personal distance and deal with you the way that I need to, whether it's, professionally or not at all." And all of that is okay. And we can do that from a place of compassion. I have a video that talks about the difference between discernment and judgment. So I invite you to take a look at that, because that helps with that compassion too, where judgment means we're condemning another person, but discernment means we can just see where they're coming from and deal with that without the negativity and the condemnation that comes along with judging. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that. So we get into that place of compassion where, hey, we know what we need to do, we can see it, and then that compassion also helps us with understanding ourselves and understanding anything else we need to know about our emotional reaction. It's like, okay, I felt angry about that. Where does that anger come from? Is it entirely from this situation? Sometimes it can feel like it can be. We can talk ourselves into thinking, oh yeah, this is all about this other guy and what this other guy did to me. But if we look more closely and question that, have I ever felt this before? Has this come up for me before? Is there a pattern in the things that trigger me and my emotional reactions? Then we get the opportunity, in that compassion, we get the opportunity to look more deeply into, where is this coming from in me, and what can I do about myself to heal old wounds and situations from the past that are unresolved that I need to work with now. So compassion is very important, and it gives us that deeper healing opportunity as well. So then the third step of forgiveness is release. So when we've done our work, and we're going to talk about how to do that work in the next video, but when we've done our work, our final step in forgiveness is that release piece. That release of, okay, here are the facts, here's my compassion, here's what I need to know about myself and the other. I can do that from a place of respecting each of us as souls in evolution, as human beings, just trying to figure things out the best that we can. And then now I choose to release the resentment and anger and emotional reaction. So the way that I like to state that is, this is the step where we choose acceptance and compassion as our reality as we move forward, instead of resentment and emotional pain around the situation. So I'm going to say that again. Release is a step where we choose acceptance and compassion as our reality, instead of resentment and emotional pain. And that is a huge difference if you just kind of want to sit with that for a while. So release is that acceptance and compassion, and choosing that as our reality, instead of resentment and emotional pain. And there's a variety of ways that we can help ourselves with that release, and that's going to be the focus of the next video. So thank you for watching. I know this was kind of a long one, but it's an important topic, and I look forward to talking with you very soon. Thanks.